Hi. Okay, so we're in the middle of this series of the coping mechanisms right now for during times of crisis, wartime. And this is the first exercise that I want to discuss with you. If you haven't yet seen my introduction, in the introduction video, I discuss a whole list of different things that can help with coping during these times, keeping us calm, keeping us feeling buoyed and as functioning as possible. So please hop over and listen to the introductory video as well. One of the exercises that I mentioned there is called the zip up exercise. Now, we're going to discuss dealing with trauma because we're a nation undergoing trauma right now. But we're also going to discuss how to avoid trauma as much as possible. We're all going to come through this, having felt the stress, the tension, the difficulty. Some of us way more than others, depending on what we're exposed to and depending on where we live, depending on how many people we have fighting on the front lines, whether it's the front lines in the army, in the police, in the medical staff, etc. There's a lot of exposure. And the first step towards healing trauma is decreasing that exposure as much as possible, decreasing the amount of trauma that we deal with. And there are many ways to do that. One is decreasing our exposure to the news, not listening to everything, not listening to a lot. Actually, what I recommend is for the people who want to stay in touch with what's going on and decrease their exposure to trauma, a recommendation that a family member gave me, which is to just read the titles. Go through pick your news station that you feel will provide you the most accurate information and just run through the titles. Most often, the most traumatizing pictures are not with the titles, not with these rundowns. And you don't have to read all the details. It's enough to know what's going on and what's happening from the title without knowing and seeing and hearing more of the details. So please try to minimize listening to the news, try to minimize the media, the photos, the videos, stories about the trauma. Try to focus instead on, while staying informed to the level that you feel you need to stay informed and as minimal as possible. Also offsetting that with watching high morale boosting videos, and there's plenty. I actually, last night, one of the things is I'm going to bed really late right now, and I found myself at 1 o'clock in the morning watching someone's status on WhatsApp, and it was just one video and post after the next. Just such morale boosting stuff. So I just filled my status with all those videos that I'd been seeing all day and that people have been sending to me. And that's what we need right now, right? To combat all the media that's coming out, all the traumatizing stuff. And yes, this is the reality. But the reality is also the blessings and the people that are just donating and all of the tremendous ways that you see love and caring and compassion pouring into communities, pouring into families, pouring into Israel. So minimizing exposure of the trauma, maximizing exposure of high morale boosting media. That's a basic on limiting exposure to trauma, okay? Another thing that we can do, besides for controlling what we're intaking, is also making the envelope around us. We have, just like we have an outer skin that protects us and shields us from all different types of things that are around, right? So if something blows in the wind and hits on it, it's just going to fall down because our skin is protecting us. If rain comes, so it'll come off, right? We don't absorb it into our body. Our skin is a layer of protection for our physical body. And our auric envelope is the protection layer. It's the skin of our energy body. The energy body is what's exposed to the elements, the energy elements, emotions, energy such as tension in the air, what we hear, see. So all of these things can be limited in the impact that they have, right? Like if someone has a wound on their skin, and then whatever leaf or branch that the winds blew against healthy skin, that doesn't hurt, it just, it just maybe pinches a little, it just falls right down. In a wound, it might really hurt. It might stick. It might go into the wound. It's exposed. And we don't want our outer skin to be exposed. So what we want to do is just like if we, God forbid, have a wound on our body, we bandage it. We want to make sure that there are no wounds in our aura. We want to make sure that our outer skin is sealed tight. And if there are wounds, if there are openings, to seal them. Okay, like we would putting a Band-Aid on an open cut. So, hold on. Okay, stop barking. So the zip-up exercise is very simple. The first couple of times, it might take a while. For people who are very good with guided imagery, this should happen quickly for you. For other people, it can take really a few times of doing it in order to feel and understand and feel like you're getting the hang of it. But it is so important. And before we get started, I'd also like to say there's also Society Garlic Essence. I should have really been discussing this essence as well. It's a protection essence and helps people feel protected and helps indeed with the physical and energy protection layers of our body, so, and our energy spheres. So, so taking that essence or spraying that essence around you can also help with building this for someone who feels like they're really exposed, like their energy is just, they're hypersensitive right now. So Society Garlic is a good essence. So the zip-up exercise, okay? You stand or sit, and you imagine this bubble, okay? It's an auric envelope, so the skin, this auric skin, and I see it as like this purple bubble that is impenetrable, okay? It's like a shield. If something comes, it just like bounces right off, okay? Nothing comes in, okay? So, well, except for love and compassion, like positivity, love comes in, but everything else stops and falls. So we don't take in the trauma, we don't take in the grief, we don't take it. Now, we're still going to feel things. I'm not saying we're not going to feel things. We want to feel and process. We want to minimize the exposure. So let's keep as much of it out here. So we imagine, okay, we look at the bottom of our feet and we see that this purple bubble is coming out in all directions. So you can start with one side, right? You can look in front of you, which is the easiest, and feel like, check the aura in front of you, check that that bubble in your mind's eye is completely shut, okay? And then you check up till your head. Then you check on either side, check that that bubble is completely shut. And from behind, make sure that that bubble from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head is completely shut. And then if you feel like there's an area that's open, stay with it and say, okay, let's seal this, and watch in your mind's eye as that bubble rises up from the different sides, right? If there's like a hole here, so then the bubble's going to rise up from below and come down from above and seal it. And watch it fill in, watch it become sealed. And if you have a hard time with the guided imagery, it's enough to guide yourself through it and then trust that it's closed. Another way to do this, if the bubble imagery is hard for you, is to imagine a zipper from the bottom of your feet up until your mouth, or up until even, let's say, your forehead, okay? And you're wearing this suit, this skin that is covering your whole aura, and there's a zipper. You want that zipper to always be shut. We never open this zipper. We do not want the zipper open. Some of us do. When we're compassionate towards other people, we feel like we have to offer our energies. No, we are compassionate to other people by keeping ourselves zipped up and offering what we're able to offer from this contained place, right? If you have a jar of jelly and you want to give from that jar of jelly, you don't crack the jelly jar open to give out the jelly. You want to be able to give of yourself without letting your energy spill out all over the place. You want to be able to provide support by saying, here, I'm my whole self, secure in my energy being, and you're your whole self. And we each have everything we need in order to get through this time. And I stand here hugging you, and I stand here supporting you, and I stand here and I listen to you and I hold you. But I don't need to give you any of my energies. I need my energies. Every person needs their own energies. And now I can still be compassionate, and I can still teach, and I can still be here for my clients and for my followers, and yet never open up that zipper. Okay, it's not my personal energies that I'm giving. It's what I'm giving from when I'm a contained being. So I hope that makes sense, but it's really, really important. So keep that zipper zipped up from the bottom to the top, and just feel that you are secure, that you are contained, that your energies are inside of you, and they're replenishing all the time, from within and from without. God is constantly replenishing these energies for us and giving us rejuvenation of these energies. So it's just like our body is like clearing, shedding old cells and inviting in new, or clearing out pain. So if there's anything in our energy being, it also has this hygiene system. So, but when it's closed, it needs to be closed in order to be healthy. So very, very, very important. And again, no matter how you want to do it, with the bubble, with the zipper, this is something that also kids really enjoy. If kids are having a hard time right now, if kids are being extremely sensitive, having high anxiety, even with their limited exposure, you feel like they're still hearing more than you'd like them to hear. This is a good way to help them feel contained within their bodies. And also if they're having nightmares, stuff like that, this can help with the nightmares. So it's very, very, very empowering to keep our energies inside of us. And it feels very confusing when we open up that zipper, when we have a hole in that energy sphere. So please keep that in mind and share this with anyone who you think could benefit from this. Have a good day. I hope that you are able to increase your level of calm today. Right, saying having a good day is a little bit difficult right now, but I hope that you're able to get through your day and count your blessings and be in a good place. And that's what these exercises are about. And if you hear this and you're like, what? That's what doing these exercises are about, getting to that place where you're able to count your blessings, getting to a place where you're able to be calm. So healing and love to you all. And blessings for a safe return for all of our soldiers and all of the people that are out there helping our country and fighting for our country and protecting our country right now.